What's up, YouTube? Classy Metal back with a new video for you guys. 2015 is rapidly coming to a close, and I finally got my end of the year list ready to go. I was going to do separate lists, do some top EPs of 2015, and then the top full lengths, and maybe even separate by metal and non-metal. But I decided just to go with one list. It's just going to be my top 20 releases from 2015. I'm going to show some honorable mentions first, and then I'm going to get in just to my top 20 releases, period. It could be EPs, full lengths, what have you. So I'm just throwing that out there right now. I also narrowed my list down by, I only chose a top 20, and I've only included albums or EPs and stuff in this video that I actually own on a physical format. So that's definitely how I plan on doing any top list from here on out. I just want to say right off the bat that this is my list, so you definitely will probably have some disagreements with some of the things I say and the placement of some of these albums. You may even be a little upset that I left some albums off, and that's fine. Could be that I just haven't had a chance to listen to the album, or maybe I've listened to it and I haven't just picked up a physical copy, or maybe I just don't like that album. So having said that, if you disagree, feel free to make your own end of the year list and let me know. I'll be more than happy to watch it and give my feedback on that as well. I'm just going to get right into these honorable mentions. There's quite a few, so I'm just going to rush through these before we get into the actual meat and potatoes of the top 20 releases. So the first honorable mention is EP by City of Dawn entitled Nobody Nowhere. The next is Kane's Offering with Stormcrow. Next we have Drupka with A Furrow Cut Short. Sorry, the name of the album kind of slipped my mind there for a minute. Next we have Utstock with, I know I'm going to butcher this, Hjörungavager. Yeah. Moonspell with Extinct. Mirror Moronis with Last Winter Tolls. Born of Osiris with Soul Sphere. Black Tongue with The Unconquerable Dark. Nile with What Shall Not Be Unearthed. I believe that, yeah, with What Should Not Be Unearthed. I apologize for that. Enslaved with End Times. Devil Wears Prada with the Space EP. Panopticon with Autumn Eternal. Ord with Of Rain and Dirt. Ashbringer with Vacant. And Skinless, Only the Ruthless Remain. So those were my honorable mentions. They were really, really good albums that just didn't quite make the cut for the top 20. This was a very hard list to get put together because I wanted some of those, along with some other ones, to get some recognition at the end of the year that just didn't even make the video at all now. But I had to put a lot of time into ordering these and just put them in the order that I feel that personally, whether it be time that I decided to spend with the album, or just personal feelings towards the album, or how the album made me feel to reach this top 20. That being said, I'm just going to get right into this. Let me turn around and grab the CDs, and we will get started. With number 20, I have a psychedelic black metal band out of Leeds, England. And this is A Forest of Stars with Beware of the Sword You Cannot See. I'm sorry, I had that upside down. There we go. This is a fantastic album. It's definitely, it's almost hard to explain being psychedelic black metal. I've heard it described as a perfect mix of horror and euphoria, and that's that's a pretty good explanation for that, because there are some very just beautiful sections and passages of this album that just drift you off, and then it has certain passages that just want to rip you to pieces. But definitely a great album. The next one might be a little bit of a surprise to some of you. It's the Yellow and Black Attack. This is Stryper. Yeah, you heard right. This is Stryper with Fallen at number 19. I guess you could say a guilty pleasure band for me, but I love myself some Stryper. This is a definite homage to their 80s roots. Just a good throwback album. Even comes complete with the power ballad entitled All Over Again. But just from the very first track on this album, I just had a blast. And for me, that was one of the funnest, I guess if that's most fun listens that I had all year. So definitely glad to put them on the list. I guess the dog didn't care much for Stryper. The next album at number 18 is the Black Dahlia Murder with Abysmal. I know some people were a little bit disappointed with this album, and for me that was not the case. I think this is the best release that Black Dahlia has released to date. So I was definitely impressed. There's a track on here entitled The Fog, which I really enjoyed. I'm just going to keep the ball rolling. And the dog's in here with me now, so maybe she'll calm down and not disrupt the video too much. The next album at number 17, this is Amensis. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, with Ascension. This is also another album with some beautiful artwork on it. They're described as progressive black metal, and I guess that can be partially right, but I also get some heavy doom and even some mellow death influences in this band as well. Definitely some progressive influence all over it. My favorite track on that album is a track called Time Is Growing Old, and it's just a beautiful track. It has both the harsh and the clean vocals, and it's just a great track and album all around. At number 16, we have another band out of England. This is Paradise Lost with The Plague Within. I'm sorry. I really enjoyed this Paradise Lost. This is probably my favorite album of theirs outside of Faith Divides Us and Death Unites Us. There's I almost said the title track. I mean, not the title track. The track while ago, No Hope in Sight, which is probably my favorite track off of this release. There's also Beneath Broken Earth, I think is the name of the song, that is another one that I really enjoy. I also really like that artwork on this one. So there you have it. Number 16, Paradise Lost with The Plague Within. Number 15, this is one that's been I've heard good and bad things about it. It's another album for me that was just a fun listen all the way through. And this is Ghost with I know I'm going to pronounce that wrong. Meliora. Yeah. But it's a really catchy album, as most Ghost material is pretty catchy, but this album seemed to be a little bit more than some of the previous work. But I still catch myself singing along and just nodding my head the whole way through, and it's definitely a fun listen. We're moving on up to number 14. We have a heavy metal band out of Finland. This is Battle Beast with Unholy Savior. I had actually never heard of Battle Beast until this year, and now I'm currently going back and visiting some of their previous works. Unholy Savior was a great listen. I was really surprised. The first track off of this, Lionheart, just kind of blew me away and got me ready for what I was going to be expecting in the entire album. That's another one that's really catchy. It's just some straightforward heavy metal and female-fronted heavy metal, and it's definitely a good listen, a good catchy. I don't even know what else to say about it, so I'm just going to move on. Number 13, we have Bedouin with Blood of the Fall. This is a band that reminds me of kind of a mesh-up between Red Fang and Mastodon. It's kind of got that doom, that stoner doom, even a little bit of sludgy doom influence in it as well. I believe they're out of North Carolina. I'm wanting to say Raleigh, North Carolina. I could be wrong on that, but that's another one that the artwork on it, that's what originally drew me to that album. And it's a good listen all the way through. There's a couple tracks on here that I really enjoy. Lord of the Suffering and Cotard's Blade are definitely good listens in that one. So if you haven't checked out Bedouin, definitely give them a listen. I'll probably put links at the bottom just so you can listen at least to the top 20. I probably won't do it for the honorable mentions, but I'll give you a chance to look up some of these because I imagine there might be some on this list that you haven't heard. Coming in at number 12, we have a band. Sorry, I'm going to take it out of the plastic real quick. It has one of the protectors on it. This is Ex Genesis with Aphotic Veil. This is a good mellow, I guess, melodic doom death metal band out of Stockholm, Sweden. It's just a 5-track EP, but it was a really fantastic release. I was pretty much fell in love with this with the first listen that I had. One of the members of this band, Jari Lindholm, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's actually in another band that's a little bit farther up in this end of the year list, so he definitely cleaned house in this one. If you haven't heard Ex Genesis, a good starting place for this band would be the song Cloudburst on this EP. And there's another one, Feudal Horizon, that's really, really good. But if you haven't checked them out, I would definitely check out Cloudburst first. And maybe you'll like the band a little bit as much as I have. So this next album coming in at number 11 kind of fell a little bit. When I first listened to it, I was expecting it to be within at least my top 5 albums of the year. But going back and listening to some of the other releases throughout the year and listening to this one over, it's dropped quite a bit. But it's still one of the best releases this band has put out in quite a while. And that's My Dying Bride with Feel the Misery. Number 11 is still a great number for this to come in. Great release. And My Father Left Forever is probably my favorite track off of that release. And all around, it's just a great listen. We have another band out of North Carolina coming in at number 10. This is a deathcore band titled Filth. And the name of this EP is Tales from the Gutter. And if you watched a couple videos ago, you saw where I got this one in. I was just super thrilled to have this in. I've been hitting that replay button on YouTube over and over, so I was glad to finally get my physical copy and be able to listen to it myself. But definitely, if you're into deathcore, the kind of slower deathcore, definitely check out Filth. Okay, coming in now, we're hitting the real good releases. Coming in at number 9, this is Cattle Decapitation with Anthropocene Extinction. It means the human extinction. I actually looked that up at one point. I know a lot of people have this at the top of their list, and I can see why. It's a really strong release. I thought the previous release from Cattle Decapitation was their best, and then they came out with this one and topped that one. So definitely a fantastic listen. Coming in at number 8 is a band a lot of people don't know about. This is the Man-Eating Tree. This is a gothic, I guess an atmospheric gothic metal band out of Finland. And the name of this album is In the Absence of Light. I heard this early on in 2015, and it has stayed in steady rotation, and as far as into my playlist and what I've been listening to all year long. There's a couple songs on here that I really enjoy. The first track, Breathe Emptiness, Plague Wielder, and Vermin are 3 of the top tracks for me in this album. It's chock full of emotion. Like I said, it's kind of an atmospheric goth kind of sound to it, so I don't know, that may turn some people off. It's a very accessible type album, so if it could turn some of you off, some of you may fall in love with it just like I did, but definitely worthy of the number 8 spot on this list. At number 7, we have a atmospheric black metal band coming out of Italy. This is Inissum with Arpitanian, I believe that's how you pronounce that, Arpitanian Lands. This was another one that kind of threw me off guard when I first heard it. I wasn't expecting this to be as great of an album as it is, but it's definitely got some ambience to it, definitely got atmospheres to it. The The clean vocals are great. The female vocals are great. The growls are great. The music's great. What can I say? Number 7. Number 6 is Leprous. Sorry about that crack on this case. I still haven't changed that out. This is Leprous with The Congregation. This is another one that's been riding towards the top of the list for a majority of the year. And I can't say enough good things about this progressive metal album either. If you haven't checked that one out, you're definitely missing out. Number 5, we have another band out of Finland. Seems like Finland and Sweden and even England, I guess it's been a good European year for metal. We have Shape of Despair with the Monotony Fields. This is probably the slowest album that's on this list. There's some fantastic Funeral Doom. If you're into Funeral Doom at all and you don't know who Shape of Despair is, get out from under your rock and check this album out. It's probably my favorite release from them, aside of Angels of Distress, which is my favorite Shape of Despair. But it even kind of leans into that general vibe that I got from Angels of Distress. So I can't say enough good things about that album either. At number 5, Shape of Despair. At number 4, we have a band out of Australia. This is a kind of a ambient, almost shoegaze and post black metal. It's got some black metal influence, but there's a lot of clean vocals on this. It's a really dark cover. I don't know if you can pick that up. It's Vagrant with Regret. I'm sorry, the too many things going on at once here, and the title slipped my mind. This entire release, it's only 5 tracks long, but it's a pretty long release to be 5 tracks. Like I said, it's kind of got that atmospheric, that ambience to it, and definitely a soothing listen at times, and then it can be unsettling at times as well. But definitely well worth being number 4 on the list. At number 3, we have a band that I'm sure a lot of you aren't even familiar with. This is a Russian melodic death metal band. It's female fronted. The name of the band is Simpulse, and the name of this album is Solar Storm. The first time that I listened to this album, I was blown away, and I didn't even know it was a female doing the death growls until I actually looked more into the band after that first listen. They have a male singer who does the cleans, and then the female does the growls. And from beginning to end, every one of those songs was just great for me. I haven't been real big on melodic death in a while, and I don't know, that was a good listen to bring me back in favor with the genre. So number 3, we have Simpulse with Solar Storm. Okay, these two was probably the hardest decision of this list for me because I love both of these albums so much. It was hard to put one at number 1 and one at number 2. At number 2, I have Inshine with Singularity. This is started out as the solo project of Jerry Lindholm. Jerry Lindholm. That he was also a member of Ex Genesis, which was on the list earlier. Then he brought in a member to do vocals, who is a Frenchman named Sebastian Pierre. And this is just some melodic death doom. Got kind of the spacey vibe to it, as you can tell from the artwork. I have absolutely nothing negative to say about that album whatsoever. It easily could have been number 1 had it not been. I'm sure this won't be a surprise to any of you if any of you know me outside of YouTube. If you're friends with me on Facebook or what have you, you know I've been a fan for this album since the day I listened to it, and that's Will to Run with Sleep at the Edge of the Earth. They kind of folkish, progressive. They even have some death metal influence. Garden of Fire is probably my favorite track on this. If it's not, then Hope and Shadow, which is Ash Memory Part 2, is another one. There are parts of this that I just want to be sitting around a fire singing. The folkish parts to it, the cleans, it has the growls. It's just, I don't know. I could listen to that album over and over and over, which I have, and never get tired of it. So definitely my favorite release right here. Will to Run, Sleep at the Edge of the Earth. And I I appreciate all of you that have come along with me for the ride so far on 2015. I don't know if I'll have any more videos for you this year or not. I have a couple of updates I need to do, but I've been so busy in the past few days I was barely able to get this this video done. So just kind of let me know if some of these are some of the stuff that you've liked from this year. Let me know what some of your top albums were as well. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for all your likes and your subscribes and your comments. And until next time, even maybe till next year, stay classy and stay metal, YouTube. Thank you again for watching.